Ahead on America This Week, United We Stand.
Every time in history, 29 times we've had vacancies arise.
Ahead on America This Week, United We Stand.
Every time in history, 29 times we've had vacancies arise during an election year. And every single one of those times, the president has made a nomination.
The president of the Judicial Crisis Network, Carrie Severino, is here.
It does matter that he's in the last 60 days of his only, hopefully, presidential term.
And the former deputy national press secretary for the Democratic Party, Jose Aristimuño, is back.
We're going to transform the court into what it's supposed to be, a place of judicial restraint and not a place that engages in legislating from the bench.
Plus, senior advisor for President Trump's 2020 campaign, Steve Cortes, joins me.
And if need be, we will take a folding chair right to the establishment.
And you won't want to miss my interview with former WWE star turned congressional hopeful Dan Rodimer.
Economic opportunity. We need that for everyone.
And Republican congressional candidate Kim Klacik is here. That and so much more right now on America This Week, United We Stand. Welcome to America This Week, United We Stand. Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away suddenly this past week. I want to bring in the president of the Judicial Crisis Network, Carrie Severino. Carrie, you've been on the show in the past talking about all things Supreme Court. This has become a political football in America, the Supreme Court seat. Give us your sense of what the right thing to do is, the constitutional thing to do is, and what what history, precedence has told us to do in this situation.
Yeah, the historical precedent here is actually very clear. Every time in history, 29 times we've had vacancies arise during an election year. And every single one of those times, the president has made a nomination. That includes President Obama in 2016, and that's going to include President Trump in 2020. The historical precedent is also very clear about what then the outcome is of those confirmation processes. In cases where the Senate and the White House are held by different parties, like we had in 2016, the historical precedent overwhelmingly is the nominee doesn't get confirmed. And surprise, surprise, that's what we saw in 2016, right? That's kind of the American people tapping the brakes. When they give the Senate to a different party than the White House, they're like, let's hold on. And then the American people end up getting to have that tiebreaker vote in the election as to who they really want to fill that seat. In this year, it's like, well, we have the White House and the Senate held by the same party. And historically, overwhelmingly, those are seats that are filled. That's what we're going to see this year as well. And I think we're on track to see it very quickly because all of these amazing frontrunners the president's looking for are women who have been recently confirmed by the Senate with bipartisan majorities. It should not take a lot of work to get them through the Senate again.
It's pretty clear that whoever, the president's going to get his pick placed. Important to know, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about this, in the event the election, the November election, is too close to call, and maybe neither side, maybe President Trump doesn't want to concede, and Joe Biden claims the victory, and both say that it's theirs, this eventually makes its way to the Supreme Court. If it's a 4-4 court and no one's been placed, what happens then?
Yeah, that's a challenging situation, right? Now, one of the many reasons it would be good to have someone on the court quickly, because when there's a 4-4 split, whatever the lower court's decision is just holds. And a lot of times if it's a big case, the court might wait then and rehear it when the court finally has the complement of 9 justices. But that's not an option if you have this kind of challenged decision. I think that's one of the, again, a great reason to move forward with this quickly, so we don't have a decision where a contested election becomes even more contentious.
Carrie, the makeup of the court is important. I've clearly, people will say that John Roberts is a conservative. There are others that think he's more liberal than conservative. The makeup of the court, assuming President Trump gets his pick through, how do you read the makeup of the court? Will it be very conservative or a little conservative?
Well, what we have, at least until the death of Justice Ginsburg, is 4 absolute rock-solid liberals voted in lockstep almost every time, right? You had 4 conservatives who generally voted together, although they do tend to have different perspectives, so you'd often see kind of different concurrences or things, different approaches to it. And Chief Justice Roberts, who, previously was one of more of the conservative justices, but in recent years, starting with the Obamacare decision, but then more common recently, was turning out to be more of a swing vote. And it was becoming very frustrating for people because it seems to be based not as much on his judicial approach, but maybe on his read of the politics behind the cases involved. With this vacancy, what we could have is a much more reliable, I guess, majority. And I would say I don't like to think of it even as a conservative liberal majority. I like to think of it as a constitutionalist majority, where it's people who are committed to interpreting the law as it is written, the Constitution as it is written. That means some laws that, a Democratic passed Senate and Democratic president signed it, might be a kind of liberal result because that's what the law says. And if it's a conservative law, that's what they're going to come to that result. So this is really a court that is a rule of law court now, rather than one that's driven by politics.
All right, Carrie Severino, thank you very much. As always, Supreme Court becomes another political football. Who would have thunk? 2020. Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks.
Ahead on America This Week, united we stand. With a Supreme Court vacancy, the election just intensified. We explore where both campaigns stand next.
United we stand, we never fall. This perilous fight, it takes one and all. Everyone stands, American strong. Strength by one equals strength by all. American values, American pride. Your neighbor needs you, each person, each time. We stand, America. United we stand. We stand, America. United we stand.
If I win this election, President Trump's nominee should be withdrawn. And as a new president, I should be the one who nominates Justice Ginsburg's successor.
All right, Joe Biden says he'd nominated a black woman for the Supreme Court, but he still won't say who he will or would pick. Is that a wise move? Joining me now is the former Deputy National Press Secretary for the Democratic Party and political commentator, Jose Aristimuño. Welcome back. Hola, Jose. Jose, President Obama once said elections have consequences. This is a consequence of being the minority party in the Senate and not holding the White House. Biden suggesting Trump should pull back a nomination is asinine, is absolutely asinine. What's on his mind?
Well, I mean, look, President Trump, his confidence, he's always so confident that he's going to win the election so easily, and that's just the way that he is, right? So if the president's got nothing to worry about, if he's going to win re-election, right, just do it next year.
That's stupid, Jose. You know that's dumb. That would be idiotic, moronic. You wouldn't do it. A Democrat wouldn't do it. No one would do it. It's like saying, oh, if you're so sure you're going to win the football game, let's spot the other team 20 points. I mean, come on. These are the rules. You play by the rules. The rules are the president in his term, doesn't matter if it's the last month of his term or not, in this term can nominate a Supreme Court replacement.
Eric, I disagree with you. Actually, that matters. It does matter that he's in the last 60 days of his only, hopefully, presidential term. It does matter because we are about to, you see the polls. It's going to be a close election. Then, both Democrats and Republicans know that.
It's the rule, Jose. It's what the Constitution says. Why shouldn't? Wait, by the way, do you think a Democrat? Obama did it. I mean, come on. You're in last year, your election or your term. You still do it. That's the rule.
I disagree. I think you should wait next year.
Jose, it's a rule. It's not a gray area. It's not subjective. It's objective. Yes or no. Can the president nominate a Supreme Court vacancy in his last term, whether it's the last day of his term or the last year of his term or 4 years into? Yes. The answer is yes, he can. And if the Senate is with him, they can confirm him or her.
Look, I mean, I'm going to say it again, Eric. I think he should do the right thing by the American people. Let the American people have a say. Wait until next year. He's so confident he's going to win the election. Wait till January. But he won't do it because he knows most likely he's going to hopefully lose the election. So, I mean, I disagree. I'm with Biden on this one. I think we should wait until the next president. And if it's Trump, if Trump gets reelected, then he should obviously, then the Senate should push forward whoever he selects.
Biden said the president, when it was Obama's pick of Merrick Garland, Biden said the president should be able to do it. Pelosi said it. RBG said it. Why are Democrats having such a hard time accepting this?
They're both flip-flop. I mean, Trump is the king of flip-flops. I mean, he flipped parties, he flipped everything, right? That's just the way the political arena is formed. But for the American people, they should do it. They should do it next year.
Listen, I agree with one thing you said there. Politicians flip-flop. Both sides flip-flop. It's like a, it's a dock when the fishing boat comes in here in D.C. Everything's flip-flopping, whatever's politically expedient this time around. Forget what I said last week. It's awful. It's terrible. It's the swamp. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, you got to go back to the book, the good book, as they say in areas around here, not in church. But the good book is the Constitution.
You have a good book on the subject, so.
We have a Constitution. Sir, hey, thank you very much. Jose Aristimuño, always good talking to you.
Thank you, Eric.
Now they want to impeach me again if I nominate somebody as I'm constitutionally obligated to do, to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. Go ahead, and I want them to do that. I want them to do that. We will.
A new chant and new T-shirts has made its way to the Trump campaign strategy at the rally this week. And joining me now to discuss the president's plan to fill that seat is senior advisor for the Trump 2020 campaign, Steve Cortes. Steve, you and I have been friends for a very long time. I want to get to the finance stuff in a minute. We speak the same language there, my friend. Fill a seat. Do you see this as, I guess, wind in the sails to the campaign, the replacing of RBG?
I certainly do. Yeah, I think that this is a tailwind behind the campaign. And part of the reason I say that, if we look back historically, a driving force of President Trump's election in 2016 was the Supreme Court. Because, of course, the Scalia seat was then open. And that really drove a lot of voters, particularly conservative voters, a lot of them evangelical, practicing Catholics, to our side. And the enthusiasm at that time for the court. President Trump has more than made good on his promises regarding the judiciary. We literally have hundreds of judges already confirmed, already on the bench, and we are now going to get a third Supreme Court justice confirmed, and we're going to transform the court into what it's supposed to be, a place of judicial restraint and not a place that engages in legislating from the bench and judicial activism and social engineering. So this is President Trump once again delivering on promises.
So, Steve, let's do this. So you have 6 weeks left to the election. Do you pivot now? Law and order has seemed to be, for the most part of the summer, the Trump campaign call points, like, let's call it that way. Do you pivot now to the economy? You got 6 weeks left. Things seem to be doing pretty well in the economy. Is there a move?
Eric, I think so, yes. And not just I think so, the whole campaign agrees with that. The president himself agrees with that. Look, when voters are asked what issue matters most to them, far and away in polling, it is the economy right now. And the great thing is, from our campaign standpoint, is we have such a compelling case to make on the economy. Americans know what we did the first 3 years of Trump's term before the China virus halted the prosperity that we were building in this country. But Americans also know we don't have to just brag about what was done in the past. we can very rightly celebrate what is happening right now in this country. And as you well know, you and I are both former Wall Street guys, former traders, the economic metrics right now, and we know we still have work to do in this country. There are too many people still out of work. There is still a long road ahead before we get back to where we were just in the earlier part of this year. But we can also rightly celebrate the incredible momentum right now in the economy. All of the relevant metrics show us that, whether it's the consumer side, the industrial side, employment, real estate, all of it is really humming right now. There's an economic renaissance afoot in this country. It's impressive, it's real, and it can accelerate and continue if we rehire President Trump as our national CEO for 4 more years.
Steve, I got about 30 seconds. Please keep the answer tight. I look at North Carolina as the swing state for you guys. He's got to win Florida clearly, but the path doesn't end up in the White House without North Carolina. Your thoughts?
No, I agree. And by the way, that's why we're spending an enormous amount of time and resources and effort in North Carolina. Look, I think the race is tight in all of these battleground states, and we need to earn the vote of every American. That includes North Carolina. I think, by the way, on the economy, the primary way we do that is by emphasizing that Joe Biden would be a retreat back to globalism, the kind of globalism that stole so many industrial jobs from the Tar Heel state.
Steve Cortes, everybody. Steve, appreciate your time.
You bet. Thank you.
Coming up on America This Week, United We Stand. As the election race continues, we talk with 2 nominees for Congress. You won't want to miss this. Each week, I've been taking you to the front lines of the fight against the opioid epidemic, where tough men, women, and canines are working to stop millions of dollars of illegal drugs from entering our borders. I've witnessed bricks of cocaine worth hundreds of millions of dollars being seized from drug cartels. Drugs hidden inside vehicles that cross the southern border, and pills being sent by criminals through the mail. It seems like no matter what we do, it's never enough to eradicate this deadly plague and keep it off our streets. But you can help in this fight by donating to the Eric Chase Foundation, ericchasefoundation.org. Every dollar helps parents and their kids and hopefully prevents a devastating overdose. With your help, we can save lives together. Thanks to everyone who has donated so far. And remember, each week, my top donors will get a signed copy of my book, Wake Up America.
United we stand, we never fall. This perilous fight, it takes one and all. Everyone stands, American strong. Strength by one equals strength by all. American values, American pride. Your neighbor needs you, each person, each time.
We stand American strong.
United we stand.
We stand American strong.
City by city, state by state, town by town, stand American great. Everyone stands American strong. When strength by one equals strength by all.
American values, American pride. Your neighbor needs you, each person, each time.
We stand American strong.
United we stand.
We stand American strong.
United we stand.
America This Week, America's fastest growing political show, points out how rough and tumble politics shape opinion in every region in our country. We tell American stories, stories that touch our people, determine our politics, focus on the future of America.
I'm Eric Bolling. Join me for a fascinating look at America This Week. Last week, I spoke with Dan Rodimer, a former WWE wrestler turned politician who hopes to add congressman to his title this November. Take a listen. You know, Las Vegas 3, Showtown, you're at WWE. How's the transition going from wrestling to politics?
Well, you know, I am an entertainer, and that's my background, and that's what I bring to the table. It's about firing people up, getting them excited, And this is a race we know we can win. It's about relatability. And just like you, Eric, being a former pro baseball player, stepping into politics, people get excited. That's what President Trump brings, to people. People want to listen to him. And if we can fire people up, get them excited, relate to them, that's how we get people to come over and they vote for us. And they understand the issues right now. And it's just putting it in a different context. And we are winning. We're up in the polls. We are the president. We just met with him a couple days ago. He pulled me aside. He said, "Big Dan, you win CD3, we win Nevada."
Yeah, there you go. And I want to point that out. President Trump has endorsed. He's been behind you for a good portion of the way. Nevada 3, like I said earlier, encompasses Las Vegas. You also got the police union to endorse you.
We did. And it's the first time from what I understand, the first time in Congressional District 3 that we've had the police endorse a Republican. And the fact is people are scared. People want to be protected. People want more police. They don't want less police. They want to make sure that they're more funded, not less funded in my district. And, polling out there right now shows that 70% of the people want police officers when called. And that's what I'm going to do.
I follow Nevada politics quite a bit. It really has become a true purple state. There are different sections of the state that lean different ways. But Nevada 3, Las Vegas, has been Democrat largely because of the service industry. And there are a lot of illegals, let's call them, immigrants coming across, and they tend to vote Democrat. How are you going to get over that?
Well, right now, it doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian. People are voting on their values. And I talk to folks all the time. And I tell them, hey, look, let's just take it out of the picture completely. Let's talk about what's best for you and your family. If you have kids, what do you want for them? And right now, we're shut down. Our governor has shut us down. You've been to Las Vegas, Eric. You see how bad it is. Folks want to go back to work, and they can't go back to work because their kids can't go back to school. So they're staying home with their children, trying to tutor them. It's extremely frustrating. The hypocrisy of our governor, Governor Sisolak, going out to restaurants, listening to live music when he's already condemned that. It's hypocrisy across the board. Nancy Pelosi going out getting her hair blown out. I mean, come on, well, nobody else can. If you put a law in effect, then, folks, the leaders need to follow that and set good examples, and they're not. And that's why people are not happy with Susie Lee right now. She has failed. She hasn't gotten out there, and she hasn't protected our district.
All right, we're gonna leave it there. Dan, Susie Lee is your opponent, and as you said, you're running neck and neck, and we wish you luck. Susie Lee, maybe she wants to step in the ring and maybe wrestle it out a little bit. That might not be good advice, good campaign advice for her. Dan Rodimer, everyone, thank you very much for joining us.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Hey, before we go, I will fight. I will fight for our children. I'll fight for our small businesses. And if need be, we will take a folding chair right to the establishment. God bless President Trump. God bless Nevada. And God bless America.
Awesome, Dan. WWE Dan. Thank you.
Thanks, pal.
Do you care about Black lives? I do. And unlike the people that currently run Baltimore, I actually have a plan to make life better for Black people here.
Kim Klacik is a Republican congressional candidate running for the seat once held by the late Elijah Cummings. Kim, thank you for being here. That video and then some of your other videos are getting millions of views. Congratulations, you're creating quite a stir. What's your quick message?
Thank you. Thank you for having me, first of all. My quick message is I think there's a chance here to turn Baltimore City around. We used to be a manufacturing powerhouse. Unfortunately, those jobs went overseas. But what we saw with the pandemic is that we can bring that biotech industry back to America and have a better response, really, to a pandemic in the future. And why not do that through the Baltimore City port? We have the second largest port in the country. It's being underutilized. I talk a lot about career opportunities, not just the biotech. School choice, education is huge. And then, of course, family structure and doing something about the crime and violence.
Black female conservative scares the bejesus out of some liberals. Take a listen. This is your appearance on The View.
Is this Joy speaking?
The guy
The
lied.
same Joy? The same
Yes.
Joy that
Yes.
paraded around in blackface not too long ago? Come on, Joy. I don't think you should be
That's
asking
not
these
true.
questions. I am
Excuse
an
me,
African American.
excuse me. The black community had my back. They know that
black
was not
community has my
blackface. That
back.
was an homage. Oh,
The
please,
black
just
community
answer the
has my
question.
back.
And then it went on, and Sunny Hostin, she had a fit, and she actually pulled the mic there, pulled back from her. Your thoughts on that View appearance?
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting. I mean, Joy Behar, the question that she was asking me is basically what I just answered 3 minutes prior. And she wanted to know about what I thought about Trump's response to the COVID pandemic, And I said, like I just told you, if we had that biotech industry here in America, we could have a better response time. But she was not satisfied with that. So when they came back from the commercial break, I guess she just was looking for a fight. And I said, you know what? If you're looking for a fight, I'll give you one. So I think that's what happened.
Kim, it's a tough seat to win in Baltimore. We know that Elijah Cummings is very popular. It's a very liberal, leans Democrat very hard. If, in fact, you don't win this election, what's the next step for Kim Klacik?
Yeah, it is. It's a plus 26 Democrat district. It is tough. We got some polling numbers back today. We are actually doing a little bit better than we thought. So we're holding out hope. But for me, hopefully President Trump is reelected, and I think he's going to do a lot with this opportunity zones that he's talking about. He's already invested $75 billion into Democrat cities across the country. And if they do not win the seat, I'm hoping the administration will allow me to help them implement some more of those changes in Baltimore City. So that's where I would love to go after this, if I don't go to Capitol Hill, of course.
Kim, I have less than a minute, and we have a huge audience in Baltimore. This shows across the country, but Baltimore is one of our biggest audiences. What is the single most pressing issue for the city of Baltimore right now to turn it around? It's had some really, really tough times with crime, education, et cetera. What is the most important? 30 seconds.
Yep, economic opportunity. We need that for everyone. Everyone needs a job, a career. They need a career with salary and benefits, and that's what I want to provide.
All right, Kim Klacik, we'll keep you. You've been on the show in the past, and we'll bring you back again, get close to the election or thereafter. Kim, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Never miss an episode of America This Week or United We Stand. Just set your DVR. We have a complete list of times and cities on Facebook. That's facebook.com/America Bolling. Our shows and key interviews are also now on YouTube. Subscribe to our America This Week YouTube channel.
United we stand, we never fall. This perilous fight, it takes one and all. Everyone stands, American strong. Strength by one equals strength by all. American values, American pride. Your neighbor needs you, each person, each time.
We stand America.
United we stand.
We stand America.
United we stand. United we stand, we never fall. This perilous fight, it takes one and all. Everyone stands, American strong. Strength by one equals strength by all. American values, American pride. Your neighbor needs you, each person, each time.
We stand America.
United we stand.
We stand America.
United we stand.
And that's a wrap from the D.C. Swamp. Thank you for joining us for another episode of America This Week, United We Stand. This week, the nation mourned the loss of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Justice Ginsburg served on the Supreme Court for 27 years and was a pioneer for women's equality throughout her career. Tonight, we leave you with the images of mourners paying their respects as her casket laid in repose at the Supreme Court. Good night, everyone.